But thanks for coming to Knoxville. We hope you enjoy it. Haven't been to New Orleans, and I love New Orleans, but I love Knoxville better. So we would like to welcome you here. So I'll turn the mic over to you, even though I do have a song to play.
Oh, I think I know what that is.
Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
That's NCI score.
What I have been doing, and I'm sure you've read the paper, there's a lot of different things going on, but there's 4 core focus areas that we're focusing on as we really start to, enhance the Knoxville Police Department. And those are crime, community, culture, and career development. And crime reduction obviously is the most important thing. That's what, the purpose of of law enforcement is, to keep people safe and to prevent crime. And I absolutely believe that we can do both. We can reduce crime, but do so in a way where we treat people with dignity and respect, and we do so legally, morally, and ethically. The third piece is culture, right? So you've heard, a lot of talk, in the news before I've arrived up here, after I've been here, about the culture of the Knoxville Police Department. And that's what we're working on right now, is to truly improve the culture of the organization and to create a culture of accountability at every level. And that accountability starts with me as the chief. And we will hold the leaders of our organization accountable. That does not mean being heavy-handed with discipline. I do not believe in being heavy-handed with discipline. Discipline needs to be fair, and it needs to be impartial. But discipline is a part of what we do. And with every action, there's consequences to those actions. And with that being said, I guess I'll be happy to answer any questions if you all would like.
I saw the other day that you weren't going to enforce the homeless law that the state passed. Can you expand on that and why?
So that's not exactly correct. So what I said was, I did not want our officers enforcing that law without checking with leadership first. And the reason being is that felony law, if that's the one you're talking about, there's many things that we could do before we get there. We have our co-responder model, we have our behavioral health unit, we have misdemeanor charges that we could use. So I did not say that they could not use that charge.
Perennially, we're short now of people wanting to be police officers. Can you just weigh in of some of the conditions that have, I guess, afforded that shortage?
Certainly. So, it's no secret that, law enforcement all across the country is struggling to hire people. We have a shortage here of officers here in Knoxville. We are aggressively hiring right now. So, if anyone knows someone that wants to be a police officer, we have a job for them now. Workplaces all across the country are struggling to hire employees in every industry. You all are business owners. I don't need to educate you all on that. This is a challenging time to be a police officer with the current climate out there in the country. When there's a major protest that pops up on a Sunday, as our police officers, they get their off days canceled to go out there and work those events. It's a very worthy profession. I think it's a noble profession. And thanks to the mayor and the city council, we just passed the biggest pay raise in the history of the Knoxville Police Department. The pay is very, very good.
What has been your biggest positive and negative surprise about Knoxville?
I think probably the homelessness issue is probably the biggest surprise that I've had from, from observing the city. The biggest surprise of the police department is how professional the organization was. On the negative side, I don't really say there's any major negatives. There's there's some disparate issues that I'm cleaning up that have been left over for a while. Some of the policies need to be modernized, and we're doing that right now. Tyler, you had a question?
Yeah, thank you. So I had a follow-up question from a meet and greet a couple weeks ago. So for any kind of reckless driving, it seems like the only policy we have is the lowest severity policy. Do you think that's appropriate for an officer who drives recklessly without lights and sirens to get the lowest classification of offense?
Well, I think what I would say to that, Tyler, is that the disciplinary policy gives me a lot of discretion with being able to discipline police officers. And I think that, and again, I have not seen what you're talking about, so I'm taking your word for it here.
I sent you an email with the links and references if you want to check afterwards.
Sure, absolutely. So, I think, we need to make sure that our discipline is appropriate to the actions. And, I think I have enough discretion to be able to discipline appropriately.
We just had a sheriff that was overwhelmingly reelected. I hope those troops can all work together.
Like, so great question. So, I've spoken to, on that week when I was here, after I was announced, before I was even employed, I sat down and met with Sheriff Spangler. I've spoken to Sheriff Spangler, several times already. I have a lunch with Sheriff Spangler coming up. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the sheriff and I are going to have a great working relationship, but more importantly, that the leadership team beneath us will have a great relationship as well.
So, and look, I feel sorry for a lot of those people, and I don't think jail is the place that they should be. But what's our best course of action?
So let me say this. So first of all, I firmly believe, absolutely believe that homelessness itself, okay, first of all, it's not a crime, and it's a public health issue. It absolutely is. The issues of homelessness, whether people are down on their luck and they're trying to get back on their feet, if they're experiencing, addiction, as we know people are in Knoxville, if they're experiencing, different levels of mental health crisis, that is absolutely a public health issue. Law enforcement plays a role in that, but law enforcement is not going to solve that problem alone. I think we all need to do that as a city, as a county, nonprofits, religious groups working together, but we're absolutely not going to wrest our way out of that problem. However, let me say that we do have a role in enforcing public order crimes. If people are urinating in public, if people are causing disturbances, if people are, committing public order crimes, please call us. Yeah, Tyler?
Yeah, kind of related to the homeless issue. Do you believe officers can search a homeless person's tent and bags on public property without a search warrant or consent?
I'm not a lawyer, Tyler. I'm not going to get into a hypothetical situation.
But we can talk about it afterwards, and again, I sent you some details in that email.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
What's your assessment of the gang situation in Knoxville?
So it's probably a little too early for me to, I've been here 5 weeks to say I've completely, done an assessment of the gang situation, but violent crime is going to be our #1 priority. And I absolutely believe that law enforcement can reduce violent crime. There are a lot of other things that other agencies can do with us, and we're going to be working with other agencies, but law enforcement plays a major role. Check with me in a few months. I have a very detailed report for you. Anyone else?
I've got one last one then.
Sure, go ahead, Tyler.
Are you ready to make a public statement on the case of Anthony Thompson Jr. being shot by Officer Clabough yet?
You, like everybody else, when we're ready to make that public statement, it's going to be in the public. You'll absolutely see that. I'm just not going to do that here tonight.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to meet all of you and to make a connection.